Hello all, MikeRo Munch here, and welcome to episode 2 of my FIFA 18 Liverpool career mode. Last episode you saw us make a few similar transfers and also our opening season 3-0 win over Watford. Hoping to continue the trend today with Crystal Palace coming to Anfield for our second Premier League game of the season. Palace have a good record at Liverpool in recent years, but we're hoping to put that to bed this time around. Team lineup is essentially the same as it was within the last game. Not too many changes to be made. Why would you after a 3-0 win? Very, very comfortable and looking to get us up to 6 points with another big 3 here. Unfortunately, today will again be post-com. I basically did a massive batch of games, and obviously I told you in the previous episode, mucked up with the volumes. So I do apologise. So the first few games of the season will be post-com. I hope that's alright. As you can see, no change to the lineup. That's what we had at the Vicarage Road. It looked good. It did the job. Why change? Palace lined up with Blanco in goal, I've never heard of. Ward, Dan, Saka and Van Aanholt make up the back four. Zaha, Riedewald, Mijalovic, Townsend in the midfield four with Loftus-Cheek in behind Christian Benteke. Benteke has a great record at Anfield in real life, so hopefully that won't be the same today. It took us a little while to get going, to be honest. It wasn't until around about the 17th mark where we finally actually started to move the ball around properly. Mane switched the ball over to Nathaniel Klein, who took a lovely touch and let through Lallana. He'd taken a knock in the early stages, but was hoping to run it off. He released Coutinho, who hit a rasper from 30 yards, and it was a good save from Blanco. Pretty comfortable, to be honest. You'd imagine he'd save it. Mane did well to keep the ball alive, keep it in play as we knocked it over to Henderson. It knocked through to Klein, who was really getting involved in the early stages of the game. Salah had a little bit of 1-2 with Mane, who tried to hit the shot but buggered it up. And then it fell to Nathaniel Klein, who hit another quick-fire shot, but another good save from Blanco. At least we were finally testing him after 20 minutes. But it took us a little while to get going, to be honest. Some lovely interplay from the back here around about the 40-minute mark. It was really, really quiet first half. Not a lot happened, but we knocked the ball out to Salah here on the right-hand side, who gives it to Firmino. You can see the run for Coutinho, and I think we all know what's happening here. Coutinho just places it into that bottom corner. I think Blanco gets a hand to it, but it's a tidy finish from the Brazilian. And Bobby Firmino obviously racking up yet another assist this year. He's been sensational in the first few games. I think that's already 3 assists for the season in 2 games. It's pretty impressive. And the Brazilian's just on the same wavelength. Coutinho takes a lovely touch to get out of his feet, and he just tucks it into that bottom corner. Palace has done really well to contain us up until that point. You can see here it's actually not as good a finish as I think, and maybe Blanco should get a stronger foot to it to save it. I think he probably should, to be honest. But it doesn't matter. We're 1-0 up, and we really needed that. Teams come to Anfield and sit back a lot, and Liverpool in real life find it so hard to break them down. From the kickoff, though, we get a bit of a scare here as Palace shift the ball around really well. Loftus-Cheek, Benteke and Townsend all involved, as it finally makes its way out to Andros, and he plays a lovely little 1-2 Benteke, and how he hasn't scored is beyond me. Heart was in mouth at that point, and you can see from the replay here just how close this actually is. It's a good bit of football, first real bit that they played, and I cannot believe he's missed it. It's on his stronger foot as well, so you can't even blame that. Not a lot really happened. We moved on to the second half. Bobby Firmino here keeping the ball, and he knocks it to Ben Davies. We played a bit better in the second half here. Salah does a lovely little shimmy turn there to get away, but it's a poor shot. And Blanco racking up yet another save. He booted the ball out, and that lot came to it. From a throw-in, we give it to Henderson, and he gives the ball away, only to be given the ball back, and it's a really, really poor finish from the captain. But an even weirder save from Blanco, because you should really be holding that. Made it a little bit overdramatic. A Jens Lehmann camera save, if I ever saw one. Palace got on the counter quite a lot in this. They tried to knock the ball over to Zaha, but a great tackle from Ben Davies set us away with Phil Coutinho pacing it down the middle of the park. But Mane just didn't make the run here. He keeps pointing for it, but he didn't actually get away from his marker or try and actually beat the trap. But Firmino knocks the ball onto Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he makes it too with a lovely finish in his first goal for Liverpool. Bobby Firmino with yet another assist. That's 4 in 2 games. Mightily, mightily impressive from the Brazilian, and we were so dangerous on the counter with the pace that we got. I brought Chamberlain on in the second half to see if he could make more of a difference, and his pace through the middle really did the trick. It was a bit of it came down between him and Emre Can, and I decided that Ox might give us a bit more going forward. Unfortunately, I was proved right. It's a lovely little finish. He's done really well with that one, and the fans are beginning to take a shine to him already. Bit of a better start to the Liverpool career than it is in real life, that's for sure. But yeah, no, after that, really, we were in control for the majority of the game. As we're just playing the ball around here, Coutinho knocks it to Hendo, but we give the ball away to Cabaye, and Townsend then gets on the ball and shifts it through, and Benteke and Townsend were really giving us trouble today, as did Johan Cabaye, another player who's got a really good record of scoring against Liverpool, and he knocked it just wide of the post. Wilfred Zaha picked up within like the last 5 minutes. And he tried to play a lovely ball through it, and it's the worst header from Jordan Henderson. And again, they tested the keeper, but Karras was equal to it, and it was a really good start. But you really think they should have scored. But 2-0 is how the game would end. It wasn't the most exciting game in the world, but it was a really, really comfortable 2-0 win. Again, we kind of struggled in the last 5 minutes of the game when the stamina ran out and we brought on the guys on the bench, so maybe it's showing that our strength in depth isn't exactly brilliant. But at the end of the day, you can't really complain with a 2-0 win at home as we shake Roy Hodgson's hand and give the fans an applause. Saka obviously made his comeback, but no happy returns for him and Benteke today. It was a good old win for Liverpool, and hopefully that keeps us in touch with the top. 6 points out of 6, you can't really go wrong with that. Chamberlain was very good when he came on as well. Very, very impressed. And then player ratings wise, as you can see, not a lot to separate everybody. There was a lot of 9s. Bobby Firmino got man of the match for 2 assists, probably rightly so. I feel like Coutinho playing at a 9 again. Those two hopefully will keep up that average, because if they play at 9s every game, every week, you kind of think that we're going to be in the mix at the end. Some bad news from that though was Adam Lallana did actually get a broken toe and will be out for 2 months. He's one of the key players in my team, so a bit disappointed. We received yet another offer for John Flanagan. We accepted one from Birmingham, but obviously the transfer didn't go through, so we accepted another one from Derby. He's not going to play much of a part in our team this year. And a loan offer came through from MikeRo. Same thing really. I don't want to sell him because I think he could be very, very good. He's very young, got good potential, and we're going to loan him out to Forest for the year and then see what he's like when he comes back next year. John Flanagan actually did make his move to Derby, and it gave us 1.5 into the coffers, and Grujic also went out on loan. And that all happened just before our game at home to Arsenal. In real life, Liverpool absolutely spanked them 4-0 at Anfield, and so I was hoping for pretty much a carbon copy really. It'd be great. Arsenal don't have a good record at Anfield in recent years and don't have a good record against the big teams in away games, pretty much similar to Liverpool this year. But, you know, the real question was who were we going to get in to replace Adam Lallana, and we decided after he got his goal off the bench that Oxlade-Chamberlain would be the man to come in and do the business. Henderson leading the countdown today. He's played really well so far this year. I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed with the whole team actually. We haven't conceded a goal yet, scored 5 goals in 2. It's not exactly a bad start, and I fancied us getting Mo Salah and Mane up against Per Mertesacker. That'd be one hell of a task, because let's face it, he's got God knows how much pace, not a lot. So yeah, as we line up, pretty much the same as the last game, the standard back 5, along with Oxlade-Chamberlain partnering Henderson and Coutinho in the midfield. Salah, Firmino and Mane also maintain their places up front. I'm looking for Mane and Salah to contribute a bit more than they have in the first 2 games. They've been very quiet. Salah probably the better of the 2. Arsenal lined up with Czech Debussy, strangely enough, Koscielny, Mertesacker, Monreal and Baines, who's made the transfer over. Coquelin and El Neni were at the midfield too, with Walcott, Welbeck and Sanchez up front. So a few big names missing there. No Ozil, obviously. No Xhaka and no Ramsey. And I fancied our chances against that midfield of Coquelin and El Neni. I fancied our chances against that, but I don't play very well against teams that play 5 at the back. So this was always going to be a bit of a test. Arsenal actually started the game off really, really well with Danny Welbeck making the moves through, and he played a lovely little through ball to Theo Walcott. But Ben Davies got there, and then Karras almost gave the ball away. Well, he did give the ball away, and it gave Danny Welbeck a good chance to get on the score sheet at the start. Fortunately, Klein mops up, and we get on the break with Chamberlain here. He continues to keep the run going. This must be a good 50-60 yard run. It's sensational from Chamberlain. And he plays a lovely little reverse pass through to Roberto Firmino. And it is 1-0 within the first 3 minutes of the game. An absolutely outstanding counter-attack. And Oxlade-Chamberlain, he deserves the hug as much as Roberto Firmino does, to be honest. It was a wonderful run from Oxlade-Chamberlain. And a brilliant little finish here. That pass, just to stay on side, what was Debussy doing? Not good enough, in my opinion. I would have subbed him, probably. To be fair, I probably wouldn't have played him from the start. But Roberto Firmino tucks it away into the bottom corner. Absolutely pearl of a finish. And it's exactly the start we wanted. And yeah, you're still there, Arsene, but I bet you know what's going to happen after this game, mate. The calls are going to be coming. And there's going to be a lot of bad chat, I'm afraid. People are not happy at the Emirates, and rightly so. They should be doing better. Sanchez whips in a corner here, but Coutinho, somehow, all the players, gets his head to it. Salah then releases Henderson. He takes the ball forward a bit and spots the run of Mane, and what a pass this is. And also matched by the touch. Mane goes through on goal, waits until the last minute, brings Czech into it, and just places it into that bottom corner. And Arsenal were all over the shop. 2 minutes in, it's 2-0 to Liverpool. And we're just going to keep catching them on the counter with the pace. I've been waiting for Mane to impress me this season. And he actually did that touch. But it's all about the ball from Jordan Henderson here. If you watch it again, just the curl to get that outside bend is incredible. And yeah, I was never going to miss from there. I could have passed it to Firmino, but I thought I wanted to give Hendo the assist. He deserves the credit for that one. And Czech absolutely clatters him afterwards as well. So it would have been pen, I think, if he probably missed anyway, to be honest. But a good finish from Mane and an excellent start for us. We were on fire in this game. Coutinho picked the ball here in the middle of the park, and this was only 20 minutes into the Ox, and he gave it to Salah. Salah and Chamberlain were reacting really well and connecting really well in this game today. Firmino tries to let the Ox get through and get a goal against his former team, but he blasts it just over the bar of his left foot. Maybe he could have laid it off to Mane, but I really wanted to get him a goal because he was by far our best player at the start of this game. Henderson there also releasing the ball from the back. Coutinho playing a lovely ball to the Ox, again involved. Roberto Firmino knocking it here to Coutinho, and Salah gets away here on the left-hand side. As you can tell, he's cutting through, and he does a lovely little step over there just to take it round Debuchy, and it's a great finish into the far corner. I think it's Debuchy. It might have been one of the centre-backs. It might actually be Monreal, I think. But if you look at it, the little step over, he just sold him up the river. It is Monreal. He souls him up the river, and it's a great finish. And we were 3-0 up and absolutely cruising. It genuinely actually could have been more than this. I really had to take some of the highlights out of this game just due to the timing of the actual video. But I can assure you there was a hell of a load of chances in this, and we were all over them. So Salah and Mane both getting on the score sheet, exactly what I wanted at the start of the game. From a corner, Henderson nearly puts us 4-0 up before half-time, which would have been sensational. Would have been reminiscent of the 2013-2014 title charge, but it was only going to be 3 at half time, richly deserved. We were absolutely all over Arsenal in this game. They just couldn't contain the pace and power up front, and Chamberlain for me was man of the match so far. Salah here was getting a bit of the plaudits, and I think he probably scored. I don't know if he did score goal of the day, to be honest. You tell me in the comment section which one you think was the best goal out of those three. For me, I love Mane's one, just with the ball from Hendo. I'm an assist man. Ben Davies here knocks the ball to Roberto Firmino, and he lays it to Coutinho. And again, Chamberlain denied by Peter Cech. He really wanted to get a goal against his former club, but Cech wasn't having any of it today. But from the resulting corner, Phil whips in a lovely ball, and Hendo, he threatened in the first half to do it, and he has deserved a goal today. So a goal and assist for Hendo. It's a lovely little flick into the far corner with his header. I was just flicking my hair there at the same time. But yeah, it's a great ball in, great little flick into that far corner there. Cech nowhere near it. Arsenal nowhere near the standard that they need to be. And we were absolutely all over them here and cruising to stay at top of the table and just keep bumping up the goal difference. We went on the hunt for more, but to be honest, the rest of the second half was pretty poor. Nothing really happened. I think Arsenal sort of shut up shop a little bit and just tried to do damage limitation. So in the end, it ended up 4-0. And we were just sensational in this game. The football was excellent. Coutinho was being a little maestro in the middle of the pitch. Salah, Mane both contributed. Firmino was brilliant again. But for me, I think man of the match for me had to go to Henderson. FIFA gave it to Coots, but I would give it to Hendo. One for that pass and for getting a goal as well. It's pretty impressive as you like. But we've made a damn good start to the season. That's 9 goals and none conceded, as you can see from the table here. We're the only team that have got a 100% record. And also the only team to not conceded a goal. God, could you imagine if anyone saw that from Liverpool in real life? God, you wouldn't believe it. But as always, one of the biggest moments in the entire career is always transfer deadline day, especially at the end of the summer. And I had big plans for this one. Main one was to try and get rid of some of the deadwood that we're not going to use and generate some more funds. Speaking of which, Simon Mignolet, there was a bid came in from him from Leverkusen. 12.3 was nothing to be scoffed at. It's 2 million over the actual asking budget. Asking price. But in the end, I ended up asking them for 14.5, so we go 4 million over, and they actually accepted it. So I think that's pretty good business. He's never going to be our number one. I've been waiting to get rid of him for quite a while. Karius is number one at the moment, and Danny Ward's a good fallback if we really needed some more. A couple of hours went by, and I was just waiting really for the money to come in from those deals so I could actually get to work on some of my own. There were 6 hours remaining. The funds finally did actually come in from that deal. And we also had a loan offer for Danny Ward. As I was just saying, there was nowhere else to let him go, seeing as he was my number 2. So I ended up rejecting the offer from Aston Villa. Because, we need Danny Ward. There's a little bit of a surprise one. I was looking at getting Granit Xhaka. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really like him in this. And I think he's a damn good player. And for me, Gini Wijnaldum just doesn't really do it for me. I don't really know why. He's 24 million. Xhaka was 24.5. So I thought, straight swap. Arsenal will love that. But Vega wasn't interested and wanted a right back. The only player that I could really offer would be Nathaniel Klein or Alexander-Arnold, so that wasn't going to happen. So instead we went ahead and tried to get a transfer fee in, and I just put 24 million in flat out for Granit Xhaka if they weren't going to have Genie. And yeah, they came out at 40.7, and I instantly thought, no, I do like Xhaka, but not enough to part with 40.5 million, sorry to say. And with that, my focus actually turned more towards the defensive side of the game. I felt that we really needed another backup centre-back to fill in for Koulibaly or Matip if they got injured. Maybe one for the future, as well as maybe a new goalie. And with that, I was looking at Anthony Lopez and Malang Sarr. In the end, I thought Malang Sarr would probably be the better option. He's young, he's really strong, he's got good potential in this game. 75 isn't too much, so he will be involved in his career. Automatically, I wanted to trade Dejan Lovren because he's never going to get in my team. They wanted a left back, and obviously now we're kind of stacked in that department, so I ended up exchanging Alberto Moreno. I do like him in real life. He's been a lot better this season for Liverpool, but it can't undo a world of severe hurt for me. So in the end, I ended up offering him and £4 million. They came back with 5.7, a 10% sell-on clause, which I thought was a bit much. I think in the end we ended up settling on 5 and the 10% clause. I just want to get it done. We've already said this is going to be a short career mode, so the 10% doesn't really come into it that much. Contract talks with Sarr were quite easy. Offered him a rotation role and pretty much the current range of what he really wanted. I kind of just gave in to his demands, to be honest. He was quite easy to satisfy. Again, bringing in players from the continent rather than buying them from the Premier League makes the contract talks just so much easier because they're not on ridiculous wages. So originally we offered him 15 grand and a 200k signing bonus, and all he wanted after that, he actually wanted to go to 14.5k and have 150k after 10 appearances, which I thought was fine. He probably will get that. He's going to play a lot of squad games. And now to Anthony Lopez. This was going to be either a really good signing or one that I was going to debate. I wasn't wholeheartedly sold on it, but Lyon were blazing out for £32.2 million, which would have left us with not enough money in the wage budget to do it. I messed around a little bit with the fee and with the sell-on clauses to see what we could get, but they stuck to the 32.3. In the end, we tried going for 25 million. As you can see here, I'm just messing about, trying to get a good deal from it. I didn't want to get any additional fees into it. We offered 25 million flat out, and then they said that they would come back to us, which hasn't happened to me yet on this game. Normally, that's a good sign. One good thing that did happen is that we signed a great player for our youth system, so we ticked off one of the objectives. I believe that's Malang Sarr, and he has more potential than the centre-backs we've currently got in. We're good to get some bad news. With Anthony Lopez, the transfer offer was unacceptable. They wanted 32.8, and I wasn't having any of that, so I did go back in. I went for 26.5, flat out, and then they just stuck to it. Lyon were not budging. They were like Liverpool with Barcelona this year with Coutinho, just not budging on what we were going to give them. 27 million and a selling potential of 20% was as high as I was willing to go. And Lyon, again, stuck to the gun, don't want a sell-on clause, and 32.8 was the asking price. I told them to go stuff it. And I was a bit disappointed we couldn't make it happen. But Nathaniel Klein, there was an offer coming from Juve, and I said no, he's our first choice right back and he's not going anywhere. Ijara got injured, but in the end, quite a quiet deadline day. But it's the day afterwards, we got a bid in from Loris Karius from Hoffenheim. And it's like, lads, you missed the deadline. We got the same with Danny Ings from Watford. They offered us 10 million for Danny. And I'm afraid as much as I love Danny Ings, we have to let him go. So he'll join Watford in the new year. In the next episode, the opening game will be a mouth-watering tie away at the Etihad against City. I hope you'll be there for it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please do like and subscribe. And of course, leave a comment if you've got any constructive criticism for me. It's all much appreciated. Anything I can do to help improve the videos. But thank you very much for watching. And until I see you next time, stay cool.